Dear learners, welcome to Python course under Machine Learning using Python. This is lecture 2, Python Introduction Continue. We are going to continue whatever we are discussing in the last lecture. Hello, welcome. I am Sunil from GCS Solutions. So contents of this particular lectures are, that is, we are going to revisit two topics, data types and basic operators. Even though we have discussed some of the details of data types and basic operators, we are going to cover in much details in this lecture. Formally, data types are defined, that is, data types is the way the data is treated and stored by the programming language. And data types have certain attributes which defines the behavior in the programming language. What does it mean that characteristics or attributes defines the behavior of data in the programming language? It's very simple. Suppose for a program, if I provide some number, say 25, or I may give some another number, say 36.77, and I may even give a string, hi, I am Sunil. Now, the data I have provided to the program is in different format, and the program treats this data in some different way with certain characteristic associated with the data. For example, if I say 25, it has integer characteristic. If I say 36.77, it has a real type data characteristic. So data types are of two types: built-in, fundamental, basic, or standard data types. So in case of Python, it is int, float, bool, str, and complex. So these are all fundamental data types for Python. And Python does have one more data type, that is called collections. So in collections, you have list, tuples, dictionary, set, and so on. Now we will be covering this topic, all these topic in details in form of different lectures. Do remember, all fundamental data types are immutable data types. We have already learned this concept, what is immutable, in the last lecture. But we will be covering why immutability is supported by Python. Perhaps not in this lecture, but in next lecture. Now collection, in case of collections, except list, all data types are immutable and list is mutable. Do remember. And in case of Python, whatever data types you see, whether it is fundamental or a collection, everything is object. That means whatever data you create under these different categories of data types, those categories of data types are nothing but the classes, and whatever thing you create under that, that becomes the object. That also we have seen in last lecture. Now let us see the list of data types and some examples under this, so that whatever discussion will be happening in the subsequent lectures, that will be easy for you to understand. Now under text we have str. So text can be anything you type in double quotes, in a single quotes. For example, I have Sunil, this word in double quotes. I have put Sunil in single quotes. I have put Sunil in triple double quotes at the beginning and at the end. So in between this I have put Sunil. Sunil even can be put in triple single quote. So this form of inclusion of text in triple single quote or double quote is quite fascinating feature of Python. Now under ints you can have 3, say for example 300 minus 535, or you can even put your mobile number 97665858855. So you can have a limitless large value of integer, particularly for Python. So this int, float, complex belongs to numeric category, and for float you can have two representation, that is decimal representation and scientific notation or scientific representation. For example, you can have 2.3 e raised to power 100, that means 2.3 into 10 raised to power 100. So such a large number you can represent in float. For Python even supports complex data type. So you can have a data type of form a plus bj, where a is real number and b is imaginary number. imaginary number of the complex. So I have represented this with some examples like 4 plus 5j, 2.3 plus 4.7j, something like this. We'll see this in details. Now in under sequence data type, we have list. So list is nothing but the set of elements enclosed in square bracket. So you can have simple numeric data in list, or you can have combination of numbers, then characters and strings. Now under tuples, you have same like your list, but the tuples, while defining tuples, you have to use round brackets. So we'll see the difference between these two uh, data types, that is list, tuples, even dictionary also we'll see, even set also we'll see. Now range is also data type as well as function, and we'll cover this under for loop. Now range can be something like range of 10 or range 1 comma 11. We'll see this in details. These are just examples to understand the difference between these data types at first glance. Now under mapping we have dictionary, that is key value pair. For example, roll number 1 is Rita, 2 is Sharvil, 3 is Yash. So these dictionary elements are put in some different format, that is key value pair, and that too in curly brackets you have to put these elements. Now set elements are again put in curly brackets, but set elements are just the elements which comprises of simple numbers or even numbers and tuples, list. This forms a set. Now we have frozen set to make our object like list, set, tuples unchangeable. We do have bool under boolean data type. So bool is the keyword used for boolean type, and boolean just takes two values, either true or false. Now under binary we have bytes, byte array and memory view. Now byte byte is also used to make the objects immutable, that we'll see in details. Now we have byte array, we have memory view also. For example, if you want to access the internal data of any object under buffer pool, we use memory view, and we provide byte array to memory view so that we can make some changes in the immutable objects. So that is the purpose. We'll see this in details as a separate topic to be discussed under this series of lectures. Now let us see in details each of the fundamental types of Python. First we'll discuss about int. Now int is the basic integer data type supported by Python. Size is limitless, and int is treated in four different ways in Python. That is, it is treated as a decimal base 10, so covering digits 0 to 9 and combination of 0 to 9. This is the default default notations or a form of data we use in our mathematics also. Then binary base 2, so only two digits 0 and 1 and combination of 0 and 1. Octal base 8, so that is combination from digits from 0 to 7 and combination of 0 to 7. And hexadecimal base 16, so we have a range from 0 to 9 and A to F in lowercase as well as A to F in uppercase, and any combination of this three things, that is 0 to 9, A to F lowercase, A to F uppercase. But thing is like, how does Python recognize this difference, that whatever int number we have given in four different formats, it is a number of this specific format, how it is recognized? So Python does have certain internal interpretation, and we have to make Python understand this thing. So here is the table which shows this thing. So we have to add certain prefix to the given number. For example, if you want to represent any number using two digits 0 and 1 as a binary number, then you have to add prefix 0 lowercase b, 0 uppercase b. If any number is preceded with this 0 lowercase b or 0 uppercase b, that forms a binary number. So Python will treat that particular number not as a decimal by default but as a binary number. This way you can have octal notation as well. So 0 followed by small o, that is lowercase o, 0 followed by uppercase o, and after that whatever you write, whatever digits you specify within the range 0 to 8 or combination, that becomes the octal number. And same is the case with the hexadecimal. The only thing is like you have to specify 0 either lowercase x or uppercase x followed by 0, and then whatever number you specify as a combination of 0 to 9, a to f, lowercase, a to f, uppercase. Now let us see this. Now I have opened the Python prompt and have typed something like a equal to 1 0. Now what this 1 0 is? It is combination of 1 and 0. Can I call this as a binary number? Can I call this as a binary number? No. This is a decimal number with base 10. What if I now write a equal to 1010? Can I call this as a binary number? No. It is still a decimal number. By default, the number is decimal. What if I precede this 1010 with 0 small case letter b, and now I ask what is a? Python says it's not 1010 decimal, it is 10, because the binary representation of decimal 10 is 1010. But how do we make Python realize this? By adding prefix 0b to 1010. Now similarly we can add a prefix in caps also, that is in uppercase letter also. So we have redefined a with a value 1011 preceded with prefix 0 capital B. So what is a now? A is 11. You know well the binary equivalent of 11 is 1011. Similarly we can have notations for other data types. So let us see the next one. Now in case of octal, you know that you can use any digits from 0 to 7 and the combination. Now what if I define b with 0 lowercase b 7? So b value is 7. Python will return me 7, because whatever I write from 0 to 7 as octal, it will be the same thing. But after 7, whatever I write or I give as an input to Python, Python will tell me the proper octal equivalent. For example, if I say 0 lowercase o 10. Now 10, even though it is within the range 0 to 7, that 10 as a octal is not a 10. Python will return me always the decimal equivalent of any of this binary or octal or hexadecimal. So if I now ask Python what is b, so Python says 10 is nothing but 8, which is a decimal equivalent of octal 10. Same is the case with octal 15. 15 is nothing but 13 decimal. And now if I ask what is type of b, because I have assigned some octal number to b, and if I ask now what is type of b, it tells me that it is int, because whatever you specify, either it is decimal with base 10 or a binary with base 2 or a octal with base 8 or hexadecimal with base 16, all these are integer. Now let us see some examples of hexadecimal. Now here I have used some digits from 0 to 9 and combination. For example, if I say c equal to 10, and if I ask what is value of c, now Python returns me 10. But if I precede that 10 with 0 either lowercase x or uppercase x, then that changes everything. Now here I have specified c equal to 0x10. Now what is 10? What is 10 for hexadecimal? So here I get answer. What is the answer? Yes, you see it. Now what of 15? It is 21. Now again if I ask Python that what is type of C, it returns me int. So what does it shows? What does it show? It shows that all these octal, hexadecimal, binary are nothing but the numbers under which class? Integer class of Python. Next one is float. Now Python float values are 64-bit range values with double precision numbers. Floating point numbers can be approximately 1.8 into 10 raised to power 308 size. So such a large size Python supports. And Python will indicate a number greater than 1.8 into 10 raised to power 308 by INF. That is called infinity, because if any number is going out of range, that will be represented by INF by Python. Now floating values or float values are specified with two different notations. You can use decimal point notation, that is 3.6 or 5.78 something like this, or you can have a number with a character either lowercase e or uppercase e followed by any positive or negative integer, and that notation is scientific notation. Now let us see some examples on this. So I have opened again a Python prompt. If I say f equal to 4.5, so it is just a decimal number with decimal notation. I get same answer, that is 4.5. I even can specify that f equal to 0.4 E7. What does it mean? Like 0.4 into 10 raised to power 7. Now if I ask what is f, Python returns me 4 6 times 0 dot 0. Is it okay? Yes, definitely. I even say Python that now I assign new value to f, that is 4.2 into e raised to power minus 4. Now if I multiply 4.2 into 10 raised to power minus 4, what is the answer? It is obviously 0.00042. Is the correct. Now again I can specify some larger exponent value. So I say 1.7 into e raised to 10 raised to power 308 or 1.7 E308. So it returns me that number in exponent form. Now what if I specify value greater than 1.8 into 10 raised to power 308, either equal or greater. So now here Python says that it is out of range and now f value is INF. INF is like infinity, infinite value, which can't be represented in Python memory. I can even have something like f equal to 5 e raised to power minus 24. So sorry, minus 324. So that value is again within the range. But what if my value is going below range? So in that case Python says it is 0. If it is going in the negative range which can't be represented, then that means value, if value is tending to 0, in that case it says it is 0 simply. Now the third fundamental data type is string, that is str. Python string can be of variable length size. It can be of any size. Python doesn't specify any size limit for string. And string can be defined by using single quotes or double quotes. That means you have to put the string in two single quotes or two double quotes character. And for Python, even a character constant is treated as a string. For example, if I assign any single character which is put in single quote, that is two times single quotes, so then that forms a string. For Python, a character or a string is nothing but a string itself. But what about C++ counterpart? So in case of C, anything you put in single quote, that is single character in single quote, in between single quote, that forms a character constant, and anything you put in double quotes, that forms a string. So this distinction is not made by Python. Now let us see some examples of this string. So I have used here a variable name and I assigned a value Sunil in a single quote. Now if I ask Python what is name, it returns me a string, a single word string put in single quote. Now I assign Sunil a single word string to variable name in double quotes, and I ask what is name. Now Python returns me again a string in a single quote. So whether I have specified my string in single quote or a double quote, the output given by Python is always a string in a single quote. Now if I put a single character, say S, in a single quote and assign to a variable name and ask Python that what is name, it returns me a string, a single character string in a single quote. If I ask what is type of name now, it returns me class str. Even though name, variable name is holding a single character, that single character is even also treated as a string in Python. Now let us explore with few more examples. So on prompt, I assign Python by Sunil sir to the name variable, and this Python by Sunil sir is a string put in 3 single quotes at the beginning of the string and 3 single quotes at the end of the string. Now for Python, putting string in 3 single quotes at the beginning or 3 single quotes at the end, or even 3 double quotes at the beginning and 3 double quotes at the end, that forms a string. This is also one of the ways of specifying the string. Now what are the advantages of using this such a complicated thing? The advantage is, like, suppose you want to specify a multi-line string or a string which has certain words which are either in single quotes or double quotes, and you want those words to be printed with those special symbols. In that case, Python asks you to specify such strings in either triple single quote or triple double quote. Now if I ask Python what is name, Python returns me that long string Python by Sunil sir in a single quote. Even I can ask Python to include that string in triple double quotes. So what is the answer? Answer is same. If I ask what is type of name, Python returns me str. That means whatever string you specify, whether it is in single quote, a single character, whether it is a single word in a single quote or a double quote, or a long string, multi-word string in a triple single quote or triple double quote, everything is a string. Now suppose I want to assign a string which has a word which should be enclosed in double quotes. So that can even be easily achieved by putting this thing in a triple single quote. Now the last example of this slide is that I have put a string having word Python which is enclosed in double quotes, and it is to be printed as it is. So no worry, at beginning you put either triple single quote or triple double quote, and at the end again same thing. So you get the result, proper result printed as a string written by Python. Now the fourth fundamental data type is bool, that is boolean type. So boolean or bool takes only two values, that is either true or false. Internally, that true is treated as 1 and false is treated as numeric 0 by Python. Now let us explore this with some examples. Now I have used some variable flag and I have assigned value true to it. Do remember, T of the word true is in uppercase letter and false, in case of false, F is in uppercase. Now here I have tried to show you the same thing. If I assign capital TRUE true to flag, and if I ask what is flag, then Python returns me true because I have assigned a true value to flag. And I can even assign now a false value to flag and ask Python to print that. But what if I write TRUE true, everything in lowercase letter? Python gives me error, trace back, most recent call last, file stdin, one line in module, name error, name true is not defined. That means the way you treat true in other languages, which is not case sensitive, is not treated the same way in Python. Now let us explore some more example. Now suppose I want to know the type of flag. If I ask Python what is type of flag, it returns me that flag is a data type belongs to which class? Bool class, because it is holding either a true value or a false value, which is boolean value. Now if I say directly ask what is type true, now that true and false, both the words are belonging to which class? That is a bool class. But don't get confused with numeric 1 and a value 1 associated with the true, that is true, and that one is internally treated as 1 by the Python. If you try to explicitly interpret that 1 as a true, then you are under wrong impression. Python will not treat that 1 as a true. Python will treat that 1 as a int. Now if I ask what is type 1, it returns me class int. So be clear in this. Should not have any confusion in this. I suggest you to try all these things at home, sitting at your desk. You can see my video, you can pause my video, can see the examples I have taken, I have explained you, and can try at your end, so that all the concepts which you learn here online will be clear practically to you. Now the next one is complex. Now complex data type is of the form a plus bj. Now what is a? A is the real part and b is the imaginary part with a special letter associated with that b, that is called j, which is nothing but under root of 2. This is the standard complex number notation which you perhaps might have learned in mathematics. Now this data type is included to support programming in scientific calculation. Suppose you want to use Python in the area of scientific calculations or research. In that case, this complex data type is helpful. And this is the reason why Python is used in even scientific research areas. Now let us explore some of the practical aspects. So again I go to the prompt and I assign I assign a complex value to a variable x, capital X. I say 10 plus 23j, and if I say what is x, so now be careful that that complex number is written by Python as a value of variable, but that value is included in round brackets. Now if I ask what is type of x, now Python returns me class complex. That means x is a variable holding a value which belongs to which class? Complex class. Now I can even have real and imaginary part as a floating numbers. So I can say 2.3 plus 3.4j, and if I ask print the value of x, it returns me the real part as 2.3 plus imaginary part as a 3.4, and that is enclosed in round brackets. Now if I ask, if I can even take one value as an integer and the other one as a real, that will also go fine with the Python complex number, I mean to say. Let us have some fun with this. Now if I ask Python to store a number as 0 plus 0j, and now I ask Python to print, Python just prints 0j. It skips real part because 0 plus something becomes something, because 0 doesn't have any contribution, so that is omitted in the output by Python. Now I can even try that, can this j be replaced by any other symbolic notation? For example, I have assigned x a value 5 plus 9i. Now Python gave me error because Python has a fixed specification that the real part should be anything, but imaginary part should be associated with the predefined letter j, which has been given value under root of 2. It is a syntax error for Python. Now let us see comparison operators. We'll be revisiting operators because in first lecture we have just covered arithmetic operators, but in this lecture we'll try to cover few more operators, basic operators, and perhaps we won't be touching two operators, that is assignment operators, group of assignment operators, and bitwise operators. Those two operators will be discussed in subsequent lectures at right place and at right time. So you need not worry. Now let us see what are these operators. So as usual, all these mathematical operators or operations are supported by Python. So if you want to compare two values with the relation of less than, then you have less than, then greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to. You can have comparison of equality with double equal to, that is equal to times. So equal to should be written with no spaces in between, two equal to, I mean to say, and not equal to two keystrokes, that is exclamation equal to. And you can have even not equal to representation like less than and greater than symbol, two keystrokes. But do remember, newer versions of Python doesn't support this last operator, that is not equal to operator. Now let us see some of the examples. Now I directly check on the Python prompt, is 3 less than 2? So Python says false. Why? Because 3 is no way less than 2. If I say is 12 less than 35, Python says yes. So Python returns true. So these are all relational operators. The result of this test of these two operands with the operator less than will always result in either a value true or false, because these are relations which results in either a result true or false. Now if I ask Python, is 45 greater than 56? Python says false, because no way 45 is larger value than 56. But if I say, is 45 larger than 34? It says true. Now can I have check of this relation, is 45 larger than 34? Can I have type check for this? Yes. If I say what is type of 45 greater than 34? So Python says it belongs to class bool. Why? Because the outcome of 45 greater than 34 is always a result which is either true or false, and this true and false both belong to which fundamental type? Boolean. Now if I say is 3 less than equal to 3, yes, 3 is less, though not less, it is equal to 3. So it returns me a true value. If I say is 5 greater than equal to 5, that is also true. Even though 5 is not greater, but it is equal to. So we have used greater than equal to operator. Now let us explore a few more examples. Now if I test equality of two numbers and if I say is 10 equal to 10, it Python returns me true. If I say 3.4 is equal to 3.4, so here in this case Python says yes, 3.4 is very well equal to 3.4. And if I say is 5 not equal to 10, it returns me true. And if I say is 5 not equal to 5, obviously 5 not equal to 5 is false, so it returns me false. But if I now try to use this last operator not equal to, my interpreter gives me error. It doesn't support that. Perhaps in your case, you try, you may get either this, what a result I get, or you may be successfully able to test this operator. So try at home and give me the feedback in comments of my channel. Now let us see logical operators. So we have three operators to be studied uh, for Python. So Python supports three logical operators, OR, AND NOT. Of these three, OR and AND are binary and NOT is unary. That means OR takes two operands, AND takes two operands, and NOT takes only one operand. Now here the general form of OR is, it takes two expressions, EXPR1 and EXPR2. Now the simplest rule of thumb to be remembered for OR operator is that if EXPR1 or EXPR2, either of these two is true, the result of expression 1 or expression 2 will be true. Otherwise it is false. And what is rule of thumb for AND? If both EXPR1 and EXPR2 are true, then only the result of this expression EXPR1 and EXPR2 is true, otherwise it is false. What of not? It is just like a toggle. That is, if you say not EXPR, if EXPR is true, not EXPR is false, and if EXPR is false, not EXPR is true. Now let us try this with the Python. So I can write everything on fly. For example, I want to test all these operator. I can directly put expressions along with the operators on the Python prompt. Now see that I have tested the OR operator. First, I test whether 3 is greater than 1 or 5 less than 10. Now, the expression 3 greater than 1 is true, and the expression 5 less than 10 is also true. So, either of the expression is true, the answer is true. So, Python returns me true. Now, if I ask, is 3 greater than 10? So, 3 greater than 10, is it true? No, false. Is 5 less than 3? Is it true? No, false. False or false? So if either of the two expression is true, then only the result is false. True. Otherwise it is false. So OR needs at least one of the expressions to be true. So here I get result false. If I say is 3 greater than 10? No, 3 is not greater than 10. That is false. Is 14 less than 35? Yes. My second expression is true even though first is false. And OR says that if one is true, then the resultant expression is true. Now let us try with two more example. If I say 12 greater than 0, true. And if I say 34 greater than 56, false. Now here I have AND operator. AND says if both these statements are true, then only result is true, otherwise it is false. Now here one of the expressions, I think both of the expressions are false, and that's why result is false. What if I make one of the statement as a true? Is 12 greater than 45? False. But 46 is greater than 34? True. But you know well, for and both the expressions should be true. Only in that case we'll get answer true, otherwise false. Now I'll try with one more example. Is 12 greater than 5? This is expression 1. And is 23 greater than 12? This is expression true. As both the expressions are true, I get answer true. It's very simple. Now let us try with two more. That is with not. If I say expression is 45 greater than 34? Is it true? Yes, it is true. But what is the not true? Not true is false. That means even though the value of expression is true, I am negating that value with not. So I get answer false. So now if I test, is 56 less than 23? That is false. But what is not false? It is true. It is always a complement. So this way you can use this operator on fly in Python. Any doubt up to this point? I hope you might have grabbed or grasped all the concepts, whatever I taught up to this point. Now let us see some of the different operators, special operators used in Python. That is identity operator, is and is not, and the membership operator in and not in. Now do remember is and is space not. So is not has a space in between. Is not a single word. These are two different words, and combination of that two different words form a operator. Let us try this with Python itself. So I say my first value a is 10. Python doesn't have any problem. If I say my b second value is 10, what Python does? Python will allocate memory for object 10, and for that object 10, both a and b will be referring. This is called reusability. That means as both the variables, even though first variable name is a and second variable name is b, and these variables are having very well different existence, but as they are sharing common value, Python will allocate memory for object 10 and these two objects will be shared. Now here I will try is operator. Is a b? That means is a and b are same? So Python gives you answer true, as both objects are sharing same value. Now I have one more variable c equal to 20, and now if I say is a is c, so is a is c, so it says false. Why? Because both the variables a and c are not sharing same value. Same is the case if I test c with b. Is c is b? Answer is false. But if now I test is c not b, so it gives me answer true. Fine. Now we'll try with few more examples. So that is membership operators. Now I have a list. Now list is defined in a square brackets. So list will be learning this list as a data type in a separate lecture. We will be having a dedicated lecture for each of these collections: list, sets, then dictionary, then few more collections you will learn like tuples. Fine. So for now we have a list, and now I want to test whether any member outside the list is present in list or not. Now here I test whether is 10 present in the list. So I use here in operator, that is called membership operator. So here answer is true. Why? Because 10 is present in list L, because list L has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 as a member of list. Now I test is 45 in list. So Python returns me false. Why? Because 45 is not a list member. It is not present in a list. So that's why this in operator will return me value false. Is 30 not in L? So not in operator is used. So here if you see that not in operator test whether the member is not present or not. Now 30 is very well present, and that's why I get answer false. Now is 45 not in L? Yes, that is true. Why? Because 45 is not in list. So that's why this membership operator not in returns me true. So this way we have covered almost all the important basic operators of Python. We'll explore some of the operators which we have not studied in this lecture in the subsequent lectures at right time. So dear friends, how was the session? Just give me your feedback either by liking my video, or if you don't like, just don't put your mouse click on dislike button. Please give me suggestions and tell me that what are the areas where I can improve. Now GCS Solutions brings you various technologies in very easy way. If you like this video, please share among your friends. If you are not yet subscribed my channel, please subscribe it, and see you in next lecture. Thank you so much.